Now let's move to Module 5 Internal Auditor. Here we are going to learn about the roles, responsibilities, and leadership skills of an internal auditor, where what kind of role he needs to play, what responsibilities he needs to have, and what leadership skills he should possess. It has all the information about the same. So let's move ahead regarding the roles of the internal auditor. So the internal auditors can have many roles depending upon whether they are performed as a lead auditor or a team member. The scope and objective of the assignment should be taken into consideration. So when an internal auditor, when he performs an internal audit, so these he needs to make sure that he is able to he is able to come up with the scope and objectives, and he should be able to decide what kind of scope needs to be there and the objectives of the audit. Some of the key roles and issues the internal auditor has, it's like he may facilitate the documentation and implementation process. Here when we talk about facilitation of the documentation, so this is usually at the time of external audits when the external auditor is asking the documentation. So the internal auditor is the one who is producing the documents to him with the help of the top level management, where they are approving what kind of documents needs to be shown to external auditor as an evidence. And when we talk about implementation process, so it is the implementation process of QMS in the organization. So the internal auditor, he is liable to facilitate the documentation and implementation process of QMS. Then he can interact with customer and external auditors. He must maintain independence and confidentiality, where his decisions should be independent without any judgment, and he should be able to maintain the confidentiality of the evidences. Then he should be able to exhibit professional behavior at the time of audits, and he's the management interface. That is, he is the face of management for the external auditor. So when the external audit happens, so the auditee is none other than the internal auditor of the company. So he that is how he is the management interface, where he's showing that he's from the company, he is the face of the company. Then internal auditors follow management's directives and conduct internal audits on behalf of management. He may facilitate in the documentation, communication, and implementation of the system and communicate with the registrar or customers. He can also act as guides during audits by external auditors or customers. And auditors should know the facility and audit process when accompanying external auditors. It also provides a good learning opportunity. Apart from providing a good learning opportunity, or it also improves the credibility of the internal auditor, that he knows his office, he knows his company, he knows where he's going and everything, he knows the process, so it improves the credibility too. And he can consult as a resource for interpretation as well as facilitate in implementation of the requirements through the provision of training and review of implementation steps. Then these are the responsibilities an internal auditor should have. So he should be unbiased, and he should have independent auditing system. Then his judgments, or his what I can say, his decisions should be based on factual evidences. So factual evidences objective assessment is required over here. Then his decisions should be impartial and fair treatment of appropriate personnel. Then should be thoughtful, attentive, and careful analysis. Where when he's listening to somebody, so he should be very thoughtful and attentive, and he should be very careful while analyzing the document with the statement given by the auditee. Then he should know the entire performance and complete engagement with the process of audit. And this is one, what I can say, the important responsibility the internal auditor should have, that is to reach unambiguous and clear conclusions based on the observation of audit, and to stay true to those conclusions.